If you've just watched the end of episode 108, then you've seen the climax of everything that we were building towards in this first season. So congratulations and thank you. One criticism that people sometimes have of the books is the finale of the first book, The Eye of the World. So we approached it quite differently than the book did, finding a way to not just pay off Rand's story in the finale, but pay off all of our characters' stories in the finale. Egwene and Nynaeve, when they face down this army of Trollocs and have a woman who studied at the White Tower using their power and seeing how much power is inside them, it gives us this glimpse of who Nynaeve and Egwene could become.
You're gonna kill us!
This is what it looked like when you take an overdose of channeling. I love it. It's beautiful work. I know some actresses dream of looking pretty. This is my dream. This is cool.
So there's what we call the crackle glaze effect. It's kind of like she's being struck by lightning, but burnt from the inside. So basically, this will be VFX enhanced. We have a Richter scale of 1 to 10 of what the one power does to you. So for example, Nynaeve is probably about Richter scale number 4. The next level up is what we call into the burning phase, which is Lady Amalisa here. And then beyond that are the poor Malkiri and Shinaran woman, which are pretty much crispy.
Rand and Moiraine are engaged in some ways in a more important but also more ambiguous battle, and episode 8 is about the two of them gaining a new respect for one another.
We were shooting on the Blight. We were supposed to go to this island in the Canaries called Gomera, which had this particular kind of forest. And then obviously the pandemic hit and we couldn't travel, and quite quickly we came to the conclusion that we might have to build some kind of a forest. Andre, the production designer, I happen to have worked with before, which is great. And Andre's brain, it can be elusive until you see the art. And then suddenly this concept will arrive and you go, that's Andre's brain. The Blight idea was a stroke of genius, to be fair. Andre just landed this idea, which really just looked like a tree that looked like a spider. It was just this sort of 4 or 5-legged thing. And I just saw that and I went, that is most definitely a thing you could call the Blight.
It was a challenging set for us, time-wise, and also nature is the trickiest thing to create, with all the details and the textures. Each tree has to be touched by the 6 groups of the different professions, so now we have to make 60 of them to be able to create the forest.
I mean, it was the most incredible world to work in. We had fronds and tendrils and stuff that would brush on your clothes and limbs of people who died in the Blight coming out of trees. I mean, it was really creepy.
Kagavane.
No, sí. Tamaraldar watarinane sa sucia.
For that first scene of episode 108, I wrote it in English, and then our dialect coach, Naomi, came to me with Sarah Nakamura, our book expert, and the two of them said, what if this scene was in Old Tongue? And I just knew instantly that's what we had to do. And so Naomi worked to build out the language of Old Tongue, which doesn't exist in the same way that some fantasy languages exist.
Tov, aveno Naomi joy Todd. It's a really exciting thing to take a dead, made-up language and turn it into a living, made-up language.
Asayeta sagiet dao aesedavie. Asa prastala sedanu atainde.
The Old Tongue is meant to be more intricate and more subtle than English, and also more beautiful. So some of the stuff that I focused on in writing the Old Tongue lines for that scene was making sure that there was a flow and a rhythm that felt natural, but also felt like it had some kind of beauty to it.
She did an incredible job of creating something that felt real, and the actors, Katie and Alex, just took this on as a true acting challenge. When they flipped over on set to Old Tongue after shooting it once in English, you could just see everyone's eyes light up and go, oh my God, something really incredible is happening here.
Unmask the bond. Let me back in. I can't touch the souls.
In book 2, Moiraine's story is somewhat limited, and for the show, we really need her to have a juicy, big, worthy of Rosamund Pike's story for season 2. As you find her at the end of episode 108, she's had everything stripped away from her that has defined her in season 1, and it sets her in an incredible space for season 2 to figure out who she really is and what will come to define her now.
Moiraine has kind of a heartbreaking journey, really, because on some level she fails in her mission. And there are going to be many, many, many more battles to come. And the other catastrophic thing that happens to Moiraine is that in her dealings with the Forsaken, she is suddenly stripped of her power. When Lan finds her at the end of episode 8, it should be quite moving, I think, because he sees this woman who's always been strong, you know, completely broken. So we'll see where that takes us in season 2.
What's exciting about the Wheel of Time is that the world is always broadening. One thing that really got people into the book series is book 2 just sideswipes you with this fleet of invading ships that arrive with people who use women who can channel as weapons of war. And the Shan-Chan are coming in season 2, and they are fascinating and terrifying, and they turn our whole world on its head.